right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 147 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. If this is your first time here, I hope you enjoy the show. Please consider subscribing. And also, if the app that you use allows you to rate and leave feedback for the show, please do so, because this will help the algorithm of anyone in your position, in my position, who needs a show like this. It will help them to find the show when they search WW-related or weight loss-related podcast. If the show has done anything for you whatsoever and you want to support the show, please spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher. Just like if it was a good restaurant. You know, nobody sends people to a good restaurant faster than the people that already ate there. And nobody steers them away from a bad restaurant faster than the people that already ate there. I could talk till I'm blue in the face, but you guys will do much more in the building of this podcast than anything I could ever say. I got a ton to cover today. Let's get into this! Journey updates. I am up 0.6 this week. That's 2 weeks in a row. For the month of July, it's the same because it's the first weigh-in of July. I am up 0.6. Total pounds lost since January 2019 is 162.8 pounds. Pounds remaining to get to the 175-pound milestone is 12.2 pounds. Pounds remaining to get to the 200-pound milestone is 37.2 pounds. We are in week 4 of phase 2, and we have gotten 5 success days this week. My plan for Wednesday definitely worked. The lower carb tortillas definitely help bring the carbs under 200 grams for that day. So that helped for a successful week. I also want to mention a listener by the name of Thelma reached out to me recently, and she told me about a special wrap made from egg whites that have 0 carbs, and they're called Egg Life or something like that. I haven't gotten them yet, but I will be getting them this week to taste them, to see what they're like. I probably won't be implementing them until I need to get down to the next level of carbs, because we have to get down there some way, right? I will definitely be trying those. I think my next step is going to be to get down to 175 grams per day of carbs. So we're definitely going to use these wraps as a tool, so long as they don't taste terrible. We'll see how it goes. For week 4 of phase 2, or I should say week 12 of the whole process, the calorie average for week 12 is 2,317 calories per day. The goal for calories was 2,300, and the baseline was 2,652. Week 12 protein average is 253 grams per day. The goal is 229. The baseline was 188. Week 12 carb average is 192 grams per day. The goal is 144, and the baseline is 406. And the week 12 fat average is 68 grams per day. The goal for fat is 90 grams per day. And the baseline was 45.8 grams per day. I have no complaints about how this week went. I'm happy with it, except for the fact that the result didn't show it. But again, I've told you guys many times, we're guaranteed the work. We are not guaranteed the result. So I do what I always do, just keep going. Over the past weeks, I have been talking a lot about the work that is involved in this journey. I have spoken endlessly about how it's okay that we make the declarations that we make when we tell the world we want to lose 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds. It's perfectly okay to tell the world these things. At the same time, the minute you say these things, you've also set the work. And you may not realize it, but you did. Because there is a list of work that comes with every goal. And the more grand the goal, the more work involved. It's that simple. You may not want it to be that simple, but it is. The work will be a list of tasks that you set that need to be done daily. And it's quite simple. Do this list of tasks daily, and eventually the results will come. Do not do this list of tasks daily, and you're only hindering your success. It's that simple. It's that black and white. Some people have longer lists than others. Some people have things that slow them down. The work is still the work. And your choice to get up on a daily basis and do your list of tasks is what separates you from your goal. If you've been listening to me long enough, you know that I have 2 Facebook groups. I have the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast group, and I have the RWW Consistency Challenge group. In that consistency group, I have tried to impart how important consistency is over anything you'll ever learn in what you're trying to do. Doing what you're supposed to do one time perfectly and then never again doesn't help. Doing it perfectly here, there, random days, it's something to talk about in a workshop, but it doesn't help you in the long run. You can live in the moment wherever you go. You want to go to the workshops, you want to talk about how you did this week and you want to celebrate that. I'm okay with that. But in my world, in this, what I'm going to talk about today, I am only talking about the long run. This is about getting to the goal and staying there. I never really imparted much as to how to do it in this group, except I would say there is value in doing what you say you're going to do. Consistency does more for your journey when you do what you say you're going to do. If you are out there and you were deciding to make walking more consistent in your life, my instruction initially was to say, okay, just make that declaration and say, I'm going to walk 3 days a week for 4 weeks for 15 minutes. Why do I set a frequency and a duration for this? Because number one, you're going to fail. Whenever you try to introduce something new into your life, you are going to fail. That's how it works. If you don't fail, you're not really challenging yourself. Simple as that. When you are trying to change the way you do something for the long term, you are going to fail and you're going to need weeks to do it. So my instruction was to make a declaration like, I'm going to walk 3 days a week for 15 minutes for 8 weeks. Because of all of the weeks that you do fail, it's about getting to the end game. In the process of saying that, you've also created a scenario where you have more room to fail. I decided that I'm going to create a new challenge. This challenge is going to go out to mostly everyone in the consistency group. And if you're not in the consistency group, again, you can join today. Just search RWW Consistency Challenge and click on join. But this goes out to anyone listening, but if to anyone in that consistency group especially. I'm calling it the Checklist Challenge. As I said, you set the goal. There's a checklist of work that comes with that goal. Everybody's list of work might be slightly different, but all of us have at least 3 of those things in common. You could have 7 items, I could have 4 items, but 3 of mine and 3 of yours are the same. And that core is 3 things. Tracking your food, weighing and measuring your food, and moving. This is the checklist. You can add more things to it later on, but this is where we're starting. We are going to do this for the long haul. If this takes the rest of the year or more, then it takes the rest of the year or more. The whole idea of this checklist challenge is for you to create consistency in every aspect on the checklist. Phase 1 of the challenge will begin July 16th. Phase 1 is tracking. 8 weeks from July 16th to September 2nd. The challenge during this 8 weeks of time is going to be to track 3 full days per week. And when I say full, I mean full. 0 point foods must be tracked. Everyone who participates will need to post a screenshot of their tracker every day. You got to label it somehow. Week 1, day 1, tracker. Week 2, day 1, week 1, day 2. You see where I'm going here. Label it because we need 3 trackers tracked fully for each week. And you're going to post these trackers in the Consistency Challenge group. If you are not on Facebook, there's really not a way for me to include you except to say on Connect, if we create a hashtag, at least we can follow each other with the hashtag. If we say hashtag checklist challenge at the end of your post, I'll be able to search and see that you posted it. The problem with it is because I don't have a connect group, when you post it, even though you're using a hashtag, anyone could see it that follows you. It's not something that's going to be private like in a Facebook private group. 3 days a week, you will post 3 trackers over phase 1. 0 Point Foods must be tracked, and you need to track 3 full days of each week. Does that mean you shouldn't track it all for the other 4? No. Those 4 are there for a reason. We'll get there. Phase 2 will also span 8 weeks, and that will be weighing and measuring. Phase 2 begins September 3rd, and it ends October 28th. In phase 2, you will do everything you did in phase 1. And we will add 2 more days of tracking for a total of 5 full days per week that need to be posted. For 3 of those 5 days, you will weigh and measure the foods. This includes 0 Point Foods. I don't care that there's 0. I don't care that WW told you didn't have to track 0. This is my challenge to you. If you want in the challenge, this is what's expected of you. If you don't feel like you can be a part of that, certainly do what you need to do. September 3rd to October 28th, a total of 5 full days tracked. Weigh and measure 3 full days, including 0 Point Foods. Without forgetting that all 0 Point Foods must be tracked. And the same way you labeled it for phase 1, for phase 2, you're going to post in WW with the hashtag checklist challenge, or in the Facebook group consistency challenge, you're going to put your post with which day this tracker represents. Phase 2, week 1, day 1. Phase 2, week 2, you understand what I'm getting at. Make sure clearly you are labeling them so we understand what your post has to do with. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. I now present to you the Ranting Weight Watcher Accountability Creed. If you choose this day to say this creed, you are accountable to me, the author. You are also accountable to all of those before you who have taken the creed, and all of those after you who will take the creed. But most of all, you are accountable to yourself. Now recite with me the Accountability Creed. Nothing can stand in my way because I choose to be unstoppable. My challenges crumble in my presence because I choose strength when I am weak. My insecurities have no power over my life because I choose confidence in the face of fear. I own every last one of my mistakes because I choose growth over mediocrity. The mirror and the scale are powerless because I move forward in spite of the result. Circumstances are not obstacles because I see solutions instead of problems. The demons of my past can no longer torment me because I choose to renew my mind daily. All things are possible as long as I believe. Because if God is for me, who can be against me? This is the creed I declare each day. It is about what I do, not what I say. I will learn the work that needs to be done. I will never stop, even when I've won. I will work consistently, no matter the cost. I refuse to believe that all hope is lost. I will work when I want to. I will work when I don't. I will work when they are cheering. I will work when they won't. I will work when it's easy. I will work when it's hard. The atonements that I've made are made with no regard. I will work when it's cold. I will work when it's hot. Because choices have consequences, justified or not. When I think I know it all, I will start back at one. Because regardless of what I think, the work is never done. And from this moment forward, when times are tough, I choose to believe that I am enough. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. Phase 3 of the checklist challenge is the moving phase. It also spans 8 weeks. It will begin October 29th, and it will end December 16th. You will have to do everything you've done in phase 1 and 2. We are going to go and add 2 more full days of tracking. So it's now a total of 7 full days of tracking. We are going to add 2 more days to weigh and measure. That is a total of 5 full days of weighing and measuring. Again, the same as phase 1 and phase 2, all 0-point foods must be tracked, and for 5 of those days, they must be weighed and measured. Everything you track must be posted to either my Facebook group or in Connect with the hashtag checklist challenge. We are going to add 15 minutes of activity for 3 days a week during phase 3. 15 minutes activity, 3 days per week. 7 full days of tracking per week. 5 days where you measure and weigh everything you're tracking, including 0-point foods, and all 7 days, 0-point foods must be tracked. Phase 4 will go after that. I don't have everything written out, but it will be more like adding to what we've built. If you see that every time there's a new phase, it takes the old phase and just adds more to it. It will not help you to create consistency in your life if when you move on and add things, you forget to do other things. What is in phase 1 is in phase 3 for a reason. You might be saying to yourself, this is hard. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's hard on purpose. This whole journey is hard. It's hard losing weight. It's hard living with weight. Both of them are your choice. Choosing to live the way you have has put you in the position to choose to live the way you need to. It's that simple. Now, here are some rules for the challenge. every time we get to a new phase, I will post the new phases requirements. I gave you the first 3 so you can see fully what I'm trying to do with this checklist, because other people are going to have more things than this. This is the core, though. Tracking, phase 1. Weighing and measuring, phase 2. Moving, phase 3. Phase 4 is going to add more things. Phase 5 will add more things. I don't need to think about all of these things right now. What I need you guys to do is over the next 24 weeks, I want complete accountability. In all of your tracking phases, if you get negative points because of it, doesn't matter. Did you have an episode where you're binge eating and emotional eating and you're embarrassed and you feel like ashamed of what you've done? It doesn't matter. Do you think you failed the entire week? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Your feelings in this challenge do not matter to me. And they shouldn't matter to anyone else in the challenge. Not for each other and not for yourself. This is judgment-free. So there's really no need to feel embarrassed by what you track. When you fail, because you will fail, this is the requirement. You're going to fail. You're going to assess your situation. You're going to decide what adjustments need to be made, and you're going to move forward. There's no such thing in all of this as perfection. Perfection was never required, and it never will be. As a matter of fact, I'd say this. When consistency is your goal, perfection is the cancer. Anytime you think, oh, it's not perfect, or you're feeling ashamed, it doesn't matter. And if you allow that feeling to win in that moment, you're allowing the cancer to infect your journey. This cancer of perfection. I've told you many, many times throughout this podcast, perfection is not required. And it's not as if I knew that. I had to learn it the hard way. You see, a lot of what I talk about here is me paving the road for you. So that all you have to do is make a left, make a right, and travel on the road that I paved for you. If you want to figure it out your own way, you're certainly welcome to do so. I'm telling you the way that I went. And I'm challenging you to do it that way. With the goal in mind only to be consistent. I don't care how many points you go over. I don't care how many weeklies you use. I don't care. Phase 1, did you notice I have no requirements for weighing and measuring? Because all I want in phase 1 is tracking. So when I demand accountability of you, I demand it based on what I asked for. Phase 1, you are only accountable to your tracking. You are accountable exactly as I explained it. 3 full days, including 0-point foods. I don't require weighing and measuring in phase 1. I do, however, in phase 2. Phase 2, weighing and measuring begins for 3 days. Phase 3, we build on it. The amount of days you weigh and measure goes to 5. In phase 4, you can count on one thing. Tracking and weighing and measuring will both be at 7 days a week. And 0-point foods will be included. just the same as it has been for the first 3 phases. And that's when we will build the move phase. More. Every phase I come up with will require complete accountability. It will require your participation. I'm not going to chase you. This is up to you. I know it's hard. I designed it that way. I designed it that way because it's completely necessary. Nothing about this journey is easy. It never was. It never will be. If you ever thought it was, you were dreaming. It's all a pipe dream. The idea that any of this can be easy is all a pipe dream. The reasons I give you these extra days where I don't require it every day is because I know you are going to fail. If you look at phase 1, the way I have built it, I built in 4 fail days. You can fail 57% of the week and still be a success in phase 1, because in order to succeed, you only have to be successful 43% of the time. Because 3 full days of tracking is 43% of the week. Get it right 43% of the time. I don't care how many times you fail. If you fail more than 4 days, this is exactly why every phase is 8 weeks. It doesn't mean you failed all 8 weeks. It means you need to fix something or adjust something for week 2, phase 1. And you need to figure out what it is, take your time, do what needs to be done, figure it out, and move forward. That's why everything is weeks and weeks long. That's why this entire process is at minimum going to take the rest of the year, if not way longer than that. You may ask, what is the end goal? The end goal is for you to be consistent. Consistent in the checklist. Whatever else you might need can be added to this checklist. But this checklist is needed from everyone. That's minimum. Tracking, weighing and measuring your food, moving. These are the core. Every single one of us needs to do these things in order to get where we're going. You can add more. You can add all kinds of different things to this, depending on what your goals are. And you can come up with your own plan of what you will do. One more quick rundown. Phase 1, 8 weeks, July 16th to September 2nd. Track 3 full days. 0 point foods must be tracked. You're going to post those 3 days in the Facebook group or in the WW group. And you're going to label those posts. Phase 2 is 8 weeks, September 3rd to October 28th. Track 5 full days. Weigh and measure 3 of those days. 0 point foods must be tracked, and for 3 of those days, they must be weighed as well. You're going to post your trackers in Facebook or in the WW with the hashtag checklist challenge. Phase 3, you're going to move. Now your posts will require a little bit of additional accountability. However you track your activity, whether you use a Fitbit, whatever it is, however you track it, you will need to post in regards to that. Because if I am asking you to post your food tracker, I am also asking you to post your activity tracker. 8 weeks, October 29th, December 16th. 15 minutes of activity, 3 days a week. You're going to track 7 full days. You're going to weigh and measure 5 of those 7 days, including 0-point foods. Complete accountability is required in this challenge. I don't care how many points you've gone negative. I don't care how many weeklies you're negative. I don't care how embarrassed you feel about what you ate. None of it matters. Only that you do the checklist. The checklist is the most important thing. Do it every day that you're asked to do it. Because at the end of the challenge, you will be doing it without thinking. That's when you have created consistency. There is no need to jump ahead. I understand there are people in the consistency challenge group that already do all of this stuff. You don't have to be a part of the challenge. If you'd like to be, you can be too, and encourage others. This is a call to people who need accountability and who need to create consistency in the checklist. July 16th, it begins. Are you with me? Yes or no? It's that simple. I wonder if you noticed something here. When I sat down and I created this challenge, I did it with only one thing in mind. And that one thing is that no matter what program you were on, this can easily be applied. And the reason I chose that method, this way of doing it, is because it was never about the program you chose. All of the times you failed, all of the times you partially succeeded and then failed, all of those times, all of those programs, it was never about the program. It was about the behaviors you were supposed to learn while doing those programs. And that's just it. Because here, look, if you created a list of every weight loss program there is on this planet right now, you will find that they all have one thing in common. And that one thing is the Holy Trinity. Tracking, weighing and measuring, moving. They are on every single plan that exists on this planet. And you know what else? They are exactly the things that every single one of us decides to skimp out on. Well, that's the first thing we see, and we say, you know what? I don't have time for that. You know what? I'm too busy. You just don't know what I go through every day. I'm taking care of other people. I'm doing all these things. Oh, you know what? Look, it's just not necessary. None of that, just way too much work. Tell me something. Are you really that busy? Do you really have that much to do? Are you really taking care of that many people that you can't take care of yourself? Is this really true? Or you just don't feel like doing it? Which is it? Because if you really have that much to do, if you're really that busy that you're willing to skimp out on your own life, because that's really what it translates to here. You're skimping out on your own life. You might as well grab some of that work right now and hand it to someone else, because you're not taking care of yourself, and eventually you're going to be dead. And when you're dead, someone's either going to be doing it anyway, or they're going to figure out it didn't need to be done and it wasn't that important. One of those two things is going to happen. Whichever it is, the saddest part is you're not here because you thought it's so important, you put it in front of your own life, your own health, your own longevity. Whatever these menial tasks are, you put them before you. And listen, if they're going to kill you, you might as well just give it to someone else now. This is the only way I can get through to you, talking extreme like this, because it is that extreme. It is that important. Your life matters. You are worth the work involved in this. It's time for you to really become fluent in the behavior that it takes to generate the success you're looking for. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.